Hi besties and welcome to my channel. My name is Tanner and this is my Esoterica, where I aim to bring you guys comfort and guidance from a place of comfort, my bed. This is going to be another one of our big question videos. Why do bad things happen to good people? So yeah, this kind of series that I've been doing, we've been kind of tackling these sort of big kind of philosophical kind of existential questions and kind of having a conversation with tarot sort of kind of to kind of just get more insight and understanding into these kind of big kind of human just wonderments that we all have. So how this reading will go is we will pull a Wisdom of the Oracle card to get some kind of clarification around our question, why do bad things happen to good people? We'll talk about those things a little bit. I will do a 3-card tarot pull to get some deeper insight. We'll talk about those. And then I'll clarify those first 3 tarot cards we pull with an additional pull from a different tarot deck. And then we will close off the reading with a channeled message from Spirit just to kind of give us a final kind of closing message, a final summation of everything that we've talked about. So I've already pre-shuffled all of these cards, but I will zhuzh them around a little bit more to make it so people don't think I'm cheating or something like that. But yeah, I've done a few of these other big question ones so far. I've done, what is the meaning of life and what happens after we die? And I was very interested by the things that came out in the tarot with these questions. So I'm interested in what will come out today as well. And if you guys watching this like this, and if you guys have any other kind of big kind of philosophical existential questions you'd like me to ask or anything like that, please drop that in the comments below. I would love to hear from you and love to hear your thoughts on what comes out on these readings as well. Obviously, these are just for fun, take them with a grain of salt, because we can never really know for sure until the time comes, right? But I find tarot is a very insightful, powerful, introspective tool. So I feel like it'll be good for these kinds of questions too. Ooh. Well, we're not going to take those because we didn't ask our question technically yet. Okay, but I think that's our sign to get back onto it. So let's get on with the reading. Let me get my grammar right. Why do bad things happen to good people? Thank you, Spirit. That's the question we are looking at today. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to good people? I mean, I know I've asked myself this question 1,000,001 times. Why do bad things happen to good people? So the card that came out for this is a leg up. And it's interesting because this is kind of like a card of community, sort of, kind of. It's like people around you or spirit around you offering you like an opportunity to elevate yourself, right? To grow, to, you can see that this baby polar bear, the mama bear, is helping it to kind of like avoid or kind of get off this potentially painful, cold, burny ice. And this mama's like helping her baby, yeah. So what I'm getting from this just off the bat, why do bad things happen to good people? I feel like it's an opportunity from the universe to help you elevate in a roundabout way. I have the guidebooks here too, so we'll read the oracle's message from here too, just to see what comes out. But that's what I'm getting. So why do bad things happen to good people? Because it's an opportunity to help you elevate in some way, shape, or form. So let's look at number 34, which is what this card is here. So yeah, the essential meanings of a leg up here are receiving help, delegating authority, and interdependence. So the oracle's message here is that you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can help who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. I'm looking over the other messages too, just to see if anything pops out to me. I'll read the protection message here too, because I find that that's interesting. So here it says, are you always insisting on doing everything yourself? Do you have little faith that help will come, convinced that the burden of the world is doomed to remain on your shoulders? Your beliefs about going it alone need to be discarded, as they do not serve you at all. Let others help you. Yes, it will make you feel vulnerable to admit you need a helping hand, but to be vulnerable is good, for you have a lesson to learn. You must let someone else assist. You can't do life all by yourself. Once you shift your expectations, you'll be amazed at how quickly help arrives to give you a leg up. So it seems like, again, challenging things present themselves, bad things happen to good people as a challenge, an opportunity, and from the universe, right, to help you level up in some way, to give you a leg up, and to help you grow in ways that you couldn't do if you were just going at it by yourself, right, and just like living life and just kind of like freewheeling it, but nothing really coming in your way to throw you off course. Does that make sense? So bad things happen as an opportunity for you to learn from it in ways that you wouldn't be able to learn if you were just going about things by yourself and haven't experienced any sort of bad things. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that makes sense, right? There are opportunities for you to grow that are being presented to you by the universe. For you to grow, I'm repeating myself, but for you to grow in ways that you wouldn't be able to without that sort of outside interference. I'm going to leave that there because I feel like I'm saying the message a million times in the same way. So yeah, very interesting. Opportunities for growth. I feel like that makes sense. If you're in this kind of spiritual community at all and have done any sort of delving into all the woo-woo-ness, you kind of come to learn that pain is part of learning and growth in this life, and it is all about teaching you something. But we'll go ahead and get into the tarot and see what comes out for this question. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you to all the angels and guides that are here. I've already shuffled this, so I don't know why I'm doing it again, but here we go. So our question, let's get deeper into this leg up, deeper into this question. Why do bad things happen to good people? Thank you, Spirit. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to good people? Got our first card. Ooh, okay. So our first card that came out was the Queen of Cups. This is a card that's all about emotional balance, right? Maturity, intuition, understanding, healing as well. The Queen of Cups is all about healing. So I feel like bad things happen to good people as an opportunity for them to come into a sense of emotional mastery, like the Queen of Cups here. And it's not like the King of Cups that sort of extends his power outwards to help others, right? The Queen of Cups and all the queens, right, are very internal, intuitive, receptive, discerning. So like this is all internal work, right? It's not really external work. So I feel like what this is saying here is that being presented with bad things, with, things that aren't so great, is an opportunity for you, right? A leg up for you to embrace a sense of emotional mastery within yourself, to be grounded. You can see the Queen of Cups here. She's grounded on the earth, even though she's surrounded by water on all sides of her. And she's also the only cup, or the only card in the cup suit where her cup is completely closed, which represents her intuitive knowing. She doesn't need to see what's in the cup to know what's in there. So yeah, what I get from this is there are opportunities for a sense of emotional balance and mastery, and a chance for you to stay grounded in who you are despite, crazy kind of wild emotions going on all around you. The second card that came out was the Sun. Ooh, almost forgot the baby was naked. But the Sun. And this is a card that's all about, ultimate happiness and clarity and warmth and celebration and all of the good things. So, it's interesting that we say, or that we're asking about bad things and why bad things happen, and the Sun, which is the card of ultimate kind of joy, comes out. So I feel like this is saying that, like, in suffering is joy, or like you can only really find the joy in things by experiencing the opposite. And we'll see when we clarify what else comes out for the Sun. But right off just the top here, that's what I'm getting. That, like, to experience frustrations and sadnesses and things that throw us off our course help us to understand what brings us happiness and fulfillment and clarity and warmth and all of those positive associations of the Sun. So yeah, I get the sense, again, that it's like you can't know the good if you don't know the bad. And the last card that came out here is the Hermit. And this is all about reflection and kind of pulling back and looking inwards. So I feel like, this is saying that bad things happen to cause good people to reflect on life, on their circumstances, on their situations, on how they even got in a certain type of situation for bad things to happen to them in the first place, right? And sometimes things happen and they really do just seem to come out of left field and you really just have no power or control over it. But I feel like, again, they're presented to us so we have opportunities to go inwards and reflect on, again, who we are, why this happened, etc., etc., for our ultimate growth. Right? Because that's what the Hermit represents. Looking inwards to, do some self-reflection and grow. So very interesting. Let's go ahead and get into the clarifiers here, because I'm fascinated at what will come out for all of these, but especially for that Sun card that we just talked about. So again, I already shuffled these cards, but I'm zhuzhing them up just so. But thank you, Spirit. Can we please clarify all of these cards, starting with the Queen of Cups? Can we please further clarify the Queen of Cups with this question? Why do bad things happen to good people? Please further clarify this Queen of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Queen of Pentacles. Ooh, interesting. Thank you, Spirit. Can we please further clarify the Sun now? Please further clarify the Sun for why do bad things happen to good people? Please further clarify the Sun. King of Wands and the Moon in reverse. So that's interesting that we have the Sun and the Moon together. Thank you, Spirit. All right, final one. Can we please further clarify the Hermit here for why bad things happen to good people? All right, let's get into it. So clarifying the Queen of Cups, this emotional mastery, this internal emotional mastery, we have the Hierophant and the Queen of Pentacles. So the Hierophant is all about spirituality, right? But it's also about conformity, it's about society, it's about mentors and teachers, right? So I feel like, with the Hierophant, it's saying that the opportunities that are being presented, these bad opportunities, are teachers, right? I mean, we kind of already got that with a leg up, like they're opportunities, right? But they're also teachers, they're spiritual teachers. That's what the Hierophant stands for in a lot of circumstances too, right? It says institutions, traditions, religion, society and its rules, social approval, wisdom, trust, those sorts of things. But the Hierophant's like the Pope, right? He's a spiritual teacher. He's a spiritual guide. So I think what this again is saying is that these opportunities that come along are spiritual teachers for us, opportunities for us to again embrace emotional internal mastery with the Queen of Cups, but with the Queen of Pentacles, it's also a sense of being secure in yourself physically and being secure in who you are. The Queen of Cups is very secure emotionally. The Queen of Pentacles is very secure materially. She's very comfortable with herself. She's kind and generous and nurturing, and she has everything that she needs, and she knows she has everything that she needs, and she doesn't, stress or worry about really anything. She's the richest queen in the tarot, right? She has nothing to worry about. But this is material security, right? Again, like the Queen of Cups, this is internal feelings of security, right? We have two queens, two internal, two feminine, receptive energies. So, yeah, bad things happen because they're spiritual teachers, spiritual opportunities being presented to us to learn to ground ourselves emotionally and physically, and be secure in ourselves emotionally and be secure in ourselves physically. And, internally within ourselves. It's not about people on the outside and what they might think. It's all about us and our internal struggles or our internal dialogue with ourselves. So yeah, spiritual teachers, opportunities to learn to be secure in ourselves physically and emotionally. Cool. So with the Sun, what came out was the Moon in reverse, and it reversed itself after it popped out of the deck, after it landed, because all of my cards are upright in the decks. Just try to make things easier for me. So when they pop out in reverse, they definitely mean to. So the moon upright, let's just start there. The moon upright is all about confusion or illusions or not seeing things very clearly. Could be kind of like lies and deception too. It really depends on the context of the other cards. But in the reverse here, this is this coming out of confusion. This is coming out of illusions. This is seeing the truth of things. Let me see what it says here. It says release of fear. Yeah. And yeah, sometimes these don't resonate with me, the things on here, but so my attention gets drawn to them, so I feel like it's helpful to check sometimes. But what I get is clarity. With the Sun here and the Moon in reverse, that's clarity and that's understanding. That's stepping out of the illusion of the moon, right? Coming out from underneath it and stepping into the clarity and the understanding of the Sun and the warmth and the embrace and all that stuff of the Sun. So why do bad things happen to good people? Ooh, on here, again, it says release of fear. So I feel like bad things happen as an opportunity to challenge us, to trigger us, right? So we can examine maybe why we were afraid of certain things to happen, or how I don't know. I feel like we go through life, a lot of us do, and we're like, oh my goodness, I feel like, I don't know what I would do if XYZ happened. And then it happens, and then you're just like, fuck. Now you have to learn to scramble and have to kind of face head on that kind of big fear that you kind of been carrying around with you for however long, right? So I feel like this is saying that, like, bad things happen because they're also an opportunity to trigger those kind of underlying shadows, right, that we have within us, and show us that we have the power, because with the King of Wands here, that was the third card that came out, that we have the power to overcome these things, right, and not let them drag us down, not let them derail us completely. So I feel like, you know, bad things happen because they're an opportunity for us to also to step into our power with the King of Wands. And yeah, to step into our power, to be triggered and to release fears that we're holding on to with the moon in reverse. Release illusions, right? See things clearly. See that we have the power to overcome bad things when they happen. Because we have, you know, vitality and strength and, you know, power and all these things that the sun represents too. So I like what I said earlier too, that like we can't really appreciate the light if we don't learn to overcome our shadows. And that's what this is saying. So bad things happen to us, so we, you know, come to understand that we have the power to overcome and release the fears and the negative things that cloud these situations, or cloud our thoughts, or our, you know, our minds and stuff. And it lets us step into the sun. It gives us the power to see things clearly after we step out of the illusion of being powerless, right? Or like, we can't do XYZ. How could I ever overcome this, whatever this is? But we do have the power to do it. That's what the King of Wands is showing us too. This is passion, this is power, this is charisma, you know. Think of any kind of fire sign guy, you know. That's the King of Wands here. So yeah, opportunities to appreciate the light, to overcome fears, to release fears, and to show us that we have the power to overcome these things. Clarifying the Hermit, we're on our last row now. We have the Knight of Wands and the Five of Cups. So the Knight of Wands is all about kind of, well, action, of course, right? But the Knight of Wands is very, I don't want to say flaky, but he's very reactive, right? He doesn't think about things like the Knight of Swords might. He's not really slow and steady wins the race like the Knight of Pentacles is, right? He's not really dreamy and romantic like the Knight of Cups. He's just all about action. He's all about passion. He sees what he wants and he goes for it. Sometimes he can be a little reckless as a result of these, you know, characteristics that he has. But he's also, you know, I'm trying to think of how to say it here. Here it says, you know, energy, passion, inspired action, adventure, fearlessness, and impulsiveness. It's kind of like a foil to the Hermit, to be honest with you. They're kind of opposing energies here. I feel like this is kind of, could be talking about how bad things kind of happen out of the blue, or kind of can hit us at any kind of moment when we're not necessarily anticipating them. And that can cause us a lot of like sadness and despair with the Five of Cups here. And then that sadness and despair leads to self-reflection, right, with the Hermit. That's what I get right away. I feel like, you know, that Knight of Wands in the context of this specific question is a little confusing to me. Other than what I was saying with, you know, these bad things coming into our lives a lot of the time without us really having a chance, without us even really having a chance to brace for it. And that's a lot like the Knight of Wands energy. I feel like this could also talk to maturity, levels of maturity a bit, because the Knight is a little more mature than the Page in the suit, right? So I feel like, this is also saying that this is an opportunity when bad things happen, right? It's an opportunity to level up, right? Like we were saying, but also like an opportunity to mature, right? To grow a little bit. Going from the Page to the Knight, right? Like that sort of energy. So I guess there's some maturing that comes along with dealing with these bad things too, learning that you have the power to overcome these things. And that makes sense too. I mean, all the other cards that we've had so far, we've had King energy and Queen energy, and this is very mature, secure, powerful energy, right? So I feel like, yeah, another reason that bad things happen to us is that they're opportunities to mature, and they come in at times we're not really anticipating them or expecting them, and they can really cause us some sadness and distress and despair when these things happen. But all of that causes us to go inwards and reflect about again, who we are, why we're here, why did we approach a situation that way, what can I take away from this so it doesn't happen to me again, or so if it does happen again, I'm more able to deal with it in a powerful way, in a way that won't keep me down so long the second time, etc., etc. You know what I mean? So yeah, opportunities that come in out of the blue. Knights are messengers too, right? So they're opportunities. Again, they are opportunities. They're bad things that happen, but they are opportunities for growth, for self-reflection, and to learn how to overcome the bad feelings, the despair, the sadness, the just woe is me aspects of it. Like, how can you overcome that? Also, with the Knight and the 5, how can you overcome, how can you overpower these negative emotions, right? And all of that comes with self-reflection and, yeah, thinking about it, thinking about why. So very interesting. I never know what's going to come out in these big question readings. So the answers that come out are just as surprising and intriguing to me as I hope they are to you guys. I hope something in there resonated with you guys. I hope it all made sense. I feel like, it's easy to ramble and repeat yourself as a tarot reader because you are trying to piece things together as you're doing it. So like, it's like I don't know, it's a tarot reader thing. I feel like I've watched a lot of readers who are like, oh, I feel like I repeat myself all the time, I'm sorry, but I get it. So hopefully I didn't do that too much to you guys. So yeah, final thoughts. Why do bad things happen to good people? Well, there are opportunities from the universe to give you a leg up, to help you elevate and grow in some sort of way. They're spiritual teachers meant to help you find emotional balance within yourself, and also to learn how to be secure within yourself, with the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles here. They help bring clarity. Bad things help bring clarity. Again, they help you understand positivity. You can really only know good things if you've experienced and felt bad things. But they're also, when they come, they're opportunities to release fear, release confusion, release limiting beliefs and things of that nature. Because when they come and they happen and you overcome them with the King of Wands, they show you that you have that power to overcome bad things and to embrace vitality and joy and being happy. And it gives you clarity. That's what the Sun means in a lot of ways. So it brings you clarity. And I mean, when you overcome bad things, don't you always feel good about yourself afterwards? You're like, oh, I can't believe I made it through that. So yeah, they show us that we have the power to overcome these things, and they give us clarity and help us release fear. Because when these things happen, we get triggered, we learn we have the power to overcome it, we do overcome it, and then we're like, oh, I can do this. And then there are opportunities also for us to reflect and mature, right? They kind of can come in out of the blue, really, you know, hot and cold, sort of like the Knight of Wands, right? And when they do, they throw us off course. They make us sad. You know, we're like, fuck, why did that have to happen? Now I have to do X, Y, Z and blah, 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 blah. And it can keep us down for a while. It can make us sad. And that's to be expected. But what's also here, right, that we didn't talk about, these 3 cups are spilled over and he's sad, right? But there are 2 cups right behind him. There are opportunities right behind him if he would just turn around to look. So that's what that's saying too, right? Like, yes, when bad things happen and our cups spill, it's tragic. But there are still opportunities being here presented to us. There are still opportunities for growth, right? So yeah, all of that, right, makes us reflect, makes us ponder things, makes us, you know, wonder what we can do to grow. So next time, again, that it happens, we can rise to the challenge in a more mature, all-encompassing way. Period. Okay, cool. So now we're going to close off this big question reading with one final channeled message from the Sacred Creators Oracle deck, just to give us one final sort of parting message, a little summarization of what we talked about today, all that stuff. And again, if you guys like this, please like, share, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this, what you guys think about my other big questions, if you'd like to watch those. And yeah, if you guys have any other suggestions for any other big questions you'd like me to tackle, please leave those in the comments as well. But thank you, Spirit. Let's go ahead and close off this reading with one final channeled message. One final channeled message for why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to good people? One more final message, Spirit. Why do bad things happen to good people? Let's see what that is. Gratitude again. So this is all about being thankful, right? Very interesting. I'm going to see what comes out, or what the guidebook says about this one, because this hasn't come out for me in many of my readings in particular. But off the top of my head, before I read it, it's just like, you know, things happen, right? Lessons are learned. And the only thing you can really do in life is learn to be grateful for the lessons, grateful for your growth, grateful for how you learn to overcome the challenges that are presented to you. The only way you can be, I feel like, comfortable with the flow of life, with how things go sometimes, because it feels like so many things happen that we're not in control of. What we can be in control of is our mindset, how we choose to tackle the situations that come in our everyday lives. And learning to be grateful for who we are and who we have the capability to become by overcoming these negative challenges, right? Does that make sense? Here, I'll read from the book. So the essential meanings of gratitude, again, are gratitude for life, a new level of manifestation skills, witnessing small miracles, abundance and prosperity, and mindset ascension. So we live in a post-The Secret world, and during the last decade, we've learned a lot about gratitude, positive thinking, and what's possible with the right mindset. There are still many people who believe magical thinking is a load of poppycock, and even more who are fence-sitters who dabble now and then just in case it brings them $1 million check in the mail. So it's time to get real about gratitude. Again, every time we repeat something, we get better at it, right? What was I just talking about? Learning how to overcome it when things happen to us again. Anyway. Did you tie your shoelace the first time you tried to? Okay, maybe you did, but lots of us had to practice that. Gratitude is your secret mindset shifter, and engaging in a thankful perspective long term will shift how wonderfully rich your life is. Like sacred geometry spiraling from the center of a plant, gratitude grows in strength exponentially each and every time it spirals. Learning to live in a state of being grateful is part of your sacred journey. Let go of any lackluster attempts you've experienced and call abundance into your life. This is a part of your medicine. Medicine for when we're feeling down, for when bad things happen, right? Learn to be grateful. Learn to be grateful long term and not to bog yourself down with asking why these things happen, or, you know, again, like, I'm such a good person, why do these awful things happen to me all the time? Because they're opportunities for you to grow still. And lots of us came here, especially if if you're drawn to spirituality and woo-woo and tarot, like most of us weren't brought here, we didn't volunteer to come here, right, to live happy, normal, cool, chill lives. We came here to grow and evolve and, help the earth grow and evolve. So, I mean, it really is a miracle that we are here just as it is, right? Yes, life is full of challenges. Yes, bad things happen to all of us from time to time. But it's not to punish you, right? These bad things don't happen because you deserve them or because, anything like that. They happen because they're opportunities for you to grow. So be grateful that you're here. Be grateful that you have these opportunities to grow. Be grateful that you have the chance to affect other people by them watching you and seeing how you overcome your challenges. That inspires other people to overcome theirs too. So be grateful for the things that happen to you. Be grateful for the lessons that they taught you. Be grateful that they helped you evolve into a better version of yourself, because that's what they're here for. Bad things happen because they're a leg up from the universe. They're, an elevation opportunity. And that's how you should look at these things. All right, besties. I feel like that's as good a place to leave it as any, right? Thank you again for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and we will see you in the next one. All right, take care. Bye.